and CEO of Benekiva. So today's podcast, we want to give a shout out to someone who was an inspiration to us. I know, Tony. I believe you pronounce his last name Shea. Tony Shea, founder and uh, operator of Zappos, passed away this last week, and uh, I believe, Tony was one of the first people who really coined the phrase becoming customer obsessive. And he truly did become customer obsessed. And it inspired us on our end because, we built Benekiva with a Benekiva first mindset, which, dovetails quite nicely from being obsessed with the customers. In our case, it was the beneficiaries. Now, beneficiaries can also sometimes be policyholders as well, because when we process claims on multiple products, sometimes the beneficiary is in fact the policyholder. So we decided that we wanted to build a company that was beneficiary first mindset, and that stemmed a lot of the findings or a lot of the practices that we have today in Benekiva stemmed from the book, Delivering Happiness, the Zappos story. And if you haven't read that book, I strongly urge you to do so, because it really changes your thought process around customer service and customer obsession. It's interesting that Zappos was bought by Amazon because both of their stories are pretty similar. When Jeff Bezos created Amazon, he didn't set out to really create this mammoth company to begin with. What he wanted to prove was he could create a technology platform that would change the way people purchase products and services. And at the time, it was books, right? Well, Tony did the same thing. He created a platform that would change the way people bought products and services. And in his case, it was shoes, And so it's very fitting that Amazon ultimately ended up buying Zappos. And interestingly enough, what I've heard is, once that transition occurred, Zappos really never changed. They made it as part of the acquisition deal that Zappos could still be Zappos, and Zappos could still have this amazing culture, this customer obsession. And I do want to just give a shout out to the Delivering Happiness team, and our condolences are with everyone at Zappos and even Amazon, because we lost a great visionary and just all around good person. And again, if you haven't had a chance to read that book, I strongly suggest you do so. We at Benekiva, we actually make our new hires read that book. It just shows that this is our goal, right? Our goal is to serve these policyholders and beneficiaries and carrier claims and customer service staff. And we became obsessed with doing so.
Yeah, when you share that article, that was pretty sad. He was so young,
Yeah.
and I think it's from our perspective, from Benekiva perspective, what you shared is exactly like how we operate from a team perspective. Even from a dev perspective, we're pretty obsessed with solving problems to meet our mission. We were interviewing today for a QA role,
Mm-hmm.
and we asked her a question saying, why are you interested in Benekiva? You know what her number one answer was?
What?
She loves our mission statement. She wants to figure out how do we serve the policyholder, beneficiaries, and the insurance carriers. How do we bridge that gap?
Yeah.
So it shows, like, when you are customer obsessed, even folks that we haven't met that want to work for Benekiva, and these are people, this individual we were just introduced.
Yeah.
Like, she came through the hiring process. Like, it wasn't like one of our connects, or like an indirect connect. So it just shows that how the mission and the vision that the team sets out and executes, it's pretty powerful. and
Absolutely.
the world sees it. And in this scenario, the person that we're hiring is not in US. So so the world can see your mission.
Yeah, and it's interesting, when you create a culture, I've said this before, when you create a culture of trust, you attract the right people, and I've worked in corporate, you've worked in corporate, and we've all had those bosses, right? That if you weren't at your desk at 8:04 p or a.m., then you weren't working, right? And so my answer to that has always been, if you can't trust them to do the job they need to do, whether they're in the office or out of the office, then why did you hire them? I mean,
Yep.
that to me, that there's so many companies that just get in this realm of just hiring warm bodies, right, to fill a position. And, from our perspective, I would rather us pick up the slack and do the extra work and hold off and hire that right person, as opposed to just hiring somebody to fill a spot or fill a
Yep.
seat. And when you do that, and I've said this before, I believe we have a Benekiva family. We don't have employees. We have a family, and it shows in all of our, our Slack channels, all of our conversations. When someone is down, everybody on the team helps lift them up. And when somebody has a tragedy, everybody's there to offer condolences and support, and that's what families do, right? That's not what employees do or employers do. That's what families do. So I think it's very important to strive to be, you know, obsessed. And at the end of the day, what I believe we're obsessed with is people. We're obsessed with people. It's not just policyholders, beneficiaries, claim staff, and customer service staff, and the carriers. It's the people who work for Benekiva, right? We're obsessed about them as well. And when you build a company with that type of culture, people want to come and work for that type of company.
And Brent, I'll add one more thing that I've noticed, like all of us are also obsessed about, is doing the right thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Not, like I think in our last Happy Friday, some of our partners, they don't get happy when we, with some of our practices of how we recruit customers, right? It's not always about the biggest margin we are going to get. It's
right.
about doing the right thing
Yeah,
and making those. The phrase that I've learned, I think I sent you a video about this the other day. It's not like no longer win-win, it's like a no lose.
right,
We create those no lose proposition.
right.
So because in win-win, like there's going to be somebody that wins this much, somebody that's win this much, and no lose, everybody really wins.
Yeah.
No matter how big or small. But yeah, I mean, I think that's where I think another thing that we're pretty obsessed about is always doing the right thing, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah, I mean, my contention is, if you live by that creed, then, you know, if you do the right thing, then the customers will come, clients will come, people will come, the money will come. All those things will fall into place when you're just, doing the right thing and focused on people. And,
Yeah,
and as
it's
long as,
about having a long-term view,
yeah,
not
absolutely,
short-term view, long-term view,
absolutely.
sustainability
Yep,
over short-term profits. So,
absolutely. Yep. So
okay,
with
well,
that,
that wraps up our Happy Monday Benekiva Minute episode. And then until next time, we'll share another InsurTech wisdom from us. So until next time, thank you.
thanks,